Are we rolling? Oh, right. My name is Eric, and this is my life. Right now I'm in the middle of, that's right, basketball.
Good jump shot. What are your other favorite hobbies?
Well, my favorite hobbies are playing video games, collecting Bakugan, and watching hockey games. Basketball, which is Creighton University, and I also in my junior year at my school, Millard South. And
Do you go to those football games?
well, sometimes, but our football team is undefeated.
Awesome.
And when we're undefeated, that means we don't lose too often.
Yeah, they know. Now wrap it up, Eric.
I hope you enjoyed my moment in my life. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Annie Novo, and this is my podcast on Asperger syndrome. My little brother, he's 19 and he has syndrome, and I've grown up all my life with him, and I'm a pretty good source of information. The 4 aspects of Asperger syndrome are symptoms, diagnosis, treatment, and how the family of the person with Asperger's is affected. According to Autism Speaks, a national advocacy group for people with autism, and I quote, autism spectrum disorders are diagnosed in 1 in 166 children, affecting 4 times as many boys as girls. Autistic individuals function daily in our society with the help of loved ones and additional services. You may know one of these individuals. An individual may be affected with autism and you may not even know it, as there are many extremes. This is why autism is a spectrum disorder. My 19-year-old brother has Asperger syndrome, as I aforementioned. Asperger syndrome is a high-functioning form of autism. A famous individual with Asperger syndrome that you would all recognize is Albert Einstein. Because autism affects so many individuals, it is necessary to understand some of its aspects. Although not all of the aspects of autism can be covered in such a short amount of time, I will share with you 4 aspects of it. The 4 aspects being symptoms, diagnosis, and how the family of the person is affected. Noticing the symptoms of Asperger's is very necessary for diagnosis. There is a wide array of symptoms, but most fall into the social category. According to the Asperger Syndrome Survival Guide, a project of Visions Research, whose mission is to educate public about health. People, especially children with Asperger's, are socially awkward and have few or no friends. Luckily for my brother, though, he attended elementary school with a group of kids that looked out for him once they got to middle school. High school, however, was a different story since there were so many kids. People with Asperger's are often slow to start a conversation, but if a conversation is started, it is often hard to keep their attention. Their speech is often very proper and too logical, which seems odd to some people. Their eye contact is hit and miss, as seen in the video. My brother was looking all over the place, anywhere but the camera. The more you are around an individual with Asperger's, the more you begin to notice the following symptoms that are not exactly social, but can be. People with Asperger's are focused on one subject. For example, you heard in the video that my brother is very interested in Bakugan. Routine is also something of nature. If there is no routine, you may witness several meltdowns. My brother gets highly upset if we do not go to the video game store for a specific video game at a specific time. People with Asperger's often act younger than their age, which is true for any autistic individual, not just Asperger's. My brother is 19 but often acts like he is 10. He gets along better socially with kids about his age. For example, my brother-in-law Charlie, who is 10 years old. Now that we have an understanding of the symptoms of Asperger's, we can now move on to the diagnosis of this mysterious syndrome. Diagnosing an individual with Asperger's the first time around is very difficult. According to the November 3, 2009 New York Times article, A Powerful Identity, A Vanishing Diagnosis, the individual is often misdiagnosed. They are often thought to have ADD, ADHD, OCD, and/or anxiety problems. They may have a number of these in addition to Asperger's. It took my family several years to get my brother the proper diagnosis. According to my mom, we did not find out about Asperger's until my brother was in the 8th grade. Until then, there seemed to be no explanation for the symptoms he exhibited. Now that we can understand the diagnosis, next we will move on to the treatment. There is no known cause or cure for Asperger's, but here are 3 common treatments. Medication can be prescribed to help increase concentration and decrease meltdowns. Antidepressants, such as Zoloft, are often used. Counseling can be used in addition to medication if necessary. Counselors can help the individual work on social skills and how to cope with the aspects of everyday life. Psychiatrists often prescribe medication. Social skills treatment also can be used in addition to medication and counseling. This treatment helps the individual to learn how to better interact with others. Now that you know what the treatments for Asperger's are, we can move on to the final point, how the family of the individual with Asperger's is affected. Not only does the individual with Asperger's have to learn how to cope, but the family must also learn how to cope. According to the April 1, 2008 Toronto Star newspaper article, when Mr. Autism decides to visit, the sibling or siblings of an individual with Asperger's often become the second parents. I was often asked in high school to make sure my brother took a shower, ate dinner, and got his homework done. I taught my brother how to do his own laundry, although my mom does not think that he should be given such a responsibility, even though he's 19 years old. My brother and many autistic individuals are very smart. They're often smarter than we think, in fact. My brother is almost at the same learning level of other kids his age, but socially he is nowhere near high school level. Resentment from the sibling or siblings of an individual with Asperger's sometimes develops. Oftentimes, the attention is more focused on the autistic individual, leaving the sibling feeling like they don't receive enough attention from the parents. As a result, resentment starts to form. I am the oldest child in my family, one of 2, and have participated in many activities. I often feel pressured to achieve more. I do recall on several occasions and admit to sometimes feeling jealous of my brother as a child because of all the attention he received. And here I was doing all these activities and he was getting all the attention. Even though I was trying my best, he was always the one receiving the attention. Not that my parents really did it on purpose, but that's just how I felt. Marriages are often strained. The stress of raising a child with Asperger's causes tension in the marriage. Parents may not agree on how to parent the child, or how much the child will be able to achieve. Some parents feel it is necessary to stay in the marriage just for the sake of the child with Asperger's, or any child for the matter of fact. That seems to be the case with a lot of parents these days. Living with only one parent will obviously result in a change in any child's routine, but will affect the child with Asperger's more than others. Other family members do not always understand the individual affected with Asperger's. They often pass judgment on the parents, thinking that Asperger's is a result of poor parenting or just a disease that the family doesn't know how to deal with properly. They sometimes pass judgment and find things that the autistic child does inappropriate because they are not around the child as much as the immediate family is. So they know that it's just one of the things that they often do, or that's how they often behave. In conclusion, you now know 4 aspects of Asperger's syndrome. Those aspects were diagnosis, symptoms, treatment, and how the family of the person with Asperger's is affected. You now know how to recognize and understand individuals with Asperger's syndrome. I will leave you with the words of Tony Atwood, an expert on Asperger's, and I quote, "People with Asperger's syndrome have a brain that's wired differently, not defectively." little brother. I love and miss you so much, and I can't wait to come home and see you in December. I love you, bro. Dad, I'm really proud of how you have quit 2 of your jobs in order to spend more time with my brother. I know he really appreciates it, and he really looks up to you, even though you may not see it. And Mom, you working with autistic kids is your dream. Even though right now it doesn't seem like you're where you want to be in the career that you chose, someday I know you'll be able to work with the group of kids that you want. I love and miss you all so much. I'll see you in December.
Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost, wake me up when September ends. What I lost, wake me up when September ends. Summer has come and passed, the innocent can now